But moving on to a little bit of MMA news. First thing we got to start with is Jon Jones versus Dana White is in the works for UFC 252 Fight Island.
Oh.
It's going to happen, guys.
Is that confirmed?
It's confirmed.
Contract signed and everything.
Contract
huh?
signed. It's $2.2 million. It was the only way Jon Jones could get the money he was.
I thought he wanted that Deontay Wilder $30 million money.
Obviously, I'm joking, guys.
Of course,
but, no, but there's a huge beef going on right now between Jon Jones and Dana White. So pretty much I'm not going to read anything. Like, it's way too fucking long.
It's just a lot of arguing on Twitter.
A lot of arguing on Twitter. Pretty much Dana keeps giving all these interviews with Brett Okamoto and fucking Ariel Helwani, all these guys going, Jon Jones is asking for ridiculous, absurd, absolute giant amounts of money, and that's the reason why we're not making this fight. It's because he's asking for way too much at a worst possible time. Pretty much what I said 2 weeks ago.
Which all makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, you're not getting that gate.
Yes. And then Jon goes, why are you lying? I never even asked for more money. I literally said, if you guys want a super fight, we have to renegotiate my contract. And you guys put a shutdown to it immediately. And that was it. And then it goes down to Jon Jones is lying because he needs to protect his image or something. He's already going through all this bullshit. And it was like, it just instantly turned into character assassination.
Yeah, it did.
For both men.
Yeah.
So I don't know who to believe. I think both men are kind of full of shit, which is a tricky situation because when both people are full of shit, it's like you have no idea what the fuck's really going on.
Right, you don't know what's going on, and that's why it's so frustrating. And not to hit up on a point that I just made, but again, that's why I wish the contract negotiations would be public. The same way the NFL does, the same way the NBA does, MLB. Like, why is it that we don't know in the UFC how much these fighters are making?
Yeah.
It would be so nice to know. Because, I mean, Jon Jones is claiming that he makes $5 million a fight.
$5 million? That's probably with pay-per-view and all
that.
Well,
yes, of course. It's a combination of everything. But so it is. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe because wouldn't put it past Jones to be asking for $30 million Deontay Wilder money to fight a guy like Francis Ngannou. Yep. But that's just, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, especially right now. So I kind of take the side more of Dana than anything else in this argument because, I mean, what do you expect him to do? The company also has to make money too. Yep.
Well, it got to the point where he's like, you know what, dude, I don't have to deal with this bullshit. I don't need you assassinating my character more than it's already been. Like, I've already done enough myself, essentially. He's like, why don't you just release, if you're not willing to pay me more money for the super fight that I wanted to do, then why don't you just release me from my contract? He goes, my first boxing match, I'm going to make 5 times the amount of money I would have ever made in 5 fights for you. With his first boxing fight, he said, so release me from my contract, essentially. So it's gotten that bad.
Jon Jones isn't going to go box.
Fuck no. He'll probably take a kickboxing fight, if anything, or he'll go do MMA, Bellator, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But let's be real. He is not going to get released from his contract. No. And so this is breaking news within the last hour. Jon Jones tweeted that he is vacating his 205-pound title. This is just him tweeting.
Can I tell you a theory that's been rolling around in my brain here, Tabor, about this whole Jon Jones thing?
Go for it.
Okay. Let's look at his career. Let's look at the statistics. Let's look at the evidence to suggest why this is going down the way it's going down. Jon Jones, in my personal opinion, knows he is slowing down. He is not as dominant as he once was. If you look back to when he was 21, through all the times he was getting in trouble, he was so incredibly dominant that he could literally load up on fucking cocaine a week before a fight and go out
on the night of, probably.
Yeah, on the night of. Yeah, probably. And be able to go out and win a championship fight and still be the baddest motherfucker on the planet. Since then, his career has slowed down. You're starting to see people in the light heavyweight division. You're starting to see a resurgence in this division with guys like Thiago Santos, okay, with guys like Dominic Reyes, like who are razor thin close to beating Jon Jones. I think Jones knows it's his time. I think he knows any of these guys could have beaten him and probably should have. I think that Dominic Reyes fight was real close. Why not right now end on top? If all these negotiations are going bad, I mean, and Jon Jones is just always constantly in the news, doing stupid shit in New Mexico all the time, firing off his gun, acting like a child still at the age of, 31, 32? I do not see a reason why Jon Jones wouldn't retire right now.
No, he'd retire on top. He'd retire as the GOAT, so I mean...
And I think it's part of his plan. Because I really do. And this is why I kind of believe Dana more than I believe anyone else. I think John knows the perfect out is to ask for a heavyweight fight that he knows he'll never fight at. He'll never fight Francis Ngannou because he doesn't want that smoke. He's going to lie about the contract negotiations and just say, fine, fuck it, I'm done with the UFC. It's the perfect out because it's not even a fight in his weight division. It's actually really smart. If John Jones wants out, this is the best way to do it for him. To blame it all on this contract negotiation fail. And to claim that, oh, I want this fight. You don't want this fight. Because, yeah, you would take a couple million more, sure. But if you really wanted it, you would take the fight for your legacy. But he doesn't. He doesn't.
No, $5 million a fight. If that's fucking true, dude, that's comfortable. For a UFC fighter?
Comfortable.
For a UFC fighter who, I mean, Max Holloway, I have no idea how much he made, but before his pay-per-view, it was $350.
Right.
I mean, he'd be lucky if he hit $1 million.
Well, and think about it. You're not fighting once a year if you're John Jones. You're fighting 3 times. And hats off to him. When he came back, he was fighting, 3 times a year. That's $15 million, give or take.
Yeah.
Even if you have to pay for coaches and stuff, you might take, $1 million off of that? That's still $14 million profit, man.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing with me. Like, he says he really wants this fight, but I think he's asking for an outrageous amount of money, and I think because of this, he'll retire. He'll retire on top as the pound-for-pound greatest fighter of all time.
Yeah. I don't think he's retiring. I think this is all just negotiations.
Really?
We'll
you
see.
think so?
I
think John Jones is crazy enough. He's got such an inflated ego about himself that I think he would sabotage his own career.
Ariel Helwani just tweeted that supposedly he's 100% dead serious about relinquishing his title and retiring right away.
I agree. Or I totally see that. I don't think we'll ever see John Jones fight again if this keeps going down the way it is.
Really?
Yeah, I
really,
do.
Really.
I think John Jones is crazy. I think he's legit. He is such a, again, one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time, period, end of discussion. But I think he is, on some level, so egotistical and just has such a, he's kind of a sociopath.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
In my opinion, and that's just my opinion. But I don't know. So for me, like, I think he would sabotage everything that he is because he's one of those guys that just doesn't care. He's a strange duck.
Very strange.
He's very weird. I mean, think about it, man. He has alienated everyone in his career. And how much has Dana White done for him?
A lot.
Let's talk about that, man.
$5 million every fight.
Well, I mean, $5 million every fight, but let's talk about through the course of his career and him getting in trouble over and over and over again.
Never once getting suspended.
Right. Let me ask you a question. You think Roger Goodell would do this for an NFL player?
Fuck no, dude.
Do you think Silver,
Antonio
when he was
Brown.
alive, would have done this for an NBA player?
Yeah, no.
No, dude. No way. But Dana White has done so much for him. He's given him money, legal counsel. He's tried to help him out, get him out of tough situations so he can get back in the UFC. Like, again, but John Jones thinks he thinks he's a god. He really believes he is a god. He is above all men. And this is just, it's an inferiority complex, man. I don't know. It's such a weird thing because he is so much fun to watch.
And he's just unwilling. It comes down to him just being unwilling to take big risks without a big payday. He's not willing to do it.
No, he's not.
So,
which, I mean, to some extent, I understand, but don't come out here and saying that you want the fight and then ask for an outrageous amount of money.
Yep, exactly.
Especially right now when you know you're not going to get it.